one of the exciting times of the year. Maybe you don't really find it exciting anymore because of your recent article on how World Athletics is handling the Athlete of the Year. But the nominees were finalized recently, and we have Tobi, Amusan, your countrywoman from Nigeria, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, Kimberly Garcia from Peru, McLaughlin, and the great Yulimar Rojas. What's your thoughts on who should win the Athlete of the Year for women, and who you really think will win? Because there's those are two things. Sometimes who should win and who wins is a different story.
It's pretty close. I mean, no prizes for guessing that the trial of Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, who has been magnificent. I mean, nobody would think a sprinter at that age would still be this competitive and winning medals. It's never been seen before. And in fact, there's a huge argument that this was her best year ever in her career, even more than the one she won Olympic gold in 2008. That was in Beijing. And you look at Tobi Amusan, kind of like a breakthrough year for her in terms of the medals she won and in terms of completely dominating the women's hurdles. The Yulimar Rojas also in the frame. With regards to how she's left her competitors away and breaking records upon records. It's just how fast she can jump at this point in time. In fact, she's her own competition. She's talking about jumping 16 meters. That's athletes are even struggling to jump 15 meters. Then there is McLaughlin also in the mix. This lady has been a gem. She's been outstanding in the way she competes. I call her the silent killer. She at some point it was kind of like nip and tuck between herself and Delala Muhammad. That was from 2017 and 2019. But from Tokyo Games last year, where she broke the world record, this year was flawless for her. Even though she didn't run that much, would have loved to see her run much for a track athlete. I mean, it's not road racing, so. But still, she went unbeaten and she completely dominated events. And there's Kimberly Garcia, who, in terms of walking, she's also really up there too. So it's going to be pretty close, to be honest. Like you said, there's a very thin line between who should win and who would win. And it's all based on voting system. And voting system obviously brings into question what we know about democracy itself, where it's just, in quotes, who is the most popular candidate. It's not actually who merits it. Now, in various sports, there are various metrics in which they should decide who becomes the best player or best athlete or best runner, depending on who is organizing the award. So in football, you've got the Ballon d'Or. You've also got the FIFA awards too. There's in the NBA, you've got the MVP for the playoffs. We've got the MVP for the regular seasons. Fans vote. For track and field, it's kind of very dicey too, where you've got the World Athletics Council members, you've got fans taking 25% of the vote, and you've also got another 25% of the vote. So journalists are not even involved in terms of the voting system, who, in quotes, report the sport and give a bit of credibility to it, and they should have a fairly decent understanding of it. In football, for example, coaches of national teams and captains of national teams all have votes. Should that be the case in athletics? Should the technical directors vote? Should the journalists vote from each country? It's in terms of participation of any sport. Athletics or track and field has the most of any sport in the world. It's the longest sports in the world, so it usually covers every single nation. Over 200 nations compete at the Olympics in track and field or competes to qualify. So with that said, I just have to lay that down now. You now look at in terms of popularity contest. So go and check the World Athletics Facebook page or the social media handle where they say fans can vote. I mean, Nigeria, of all the countries that are there, Nigeria is the most populated with over 200 million people. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce with Jamaica just have north of 3 million people. That's never up to the population of one third or local government in Lagos State. So you would notice that even though it's not necessarily because of performance wasn't so good, we just need to rally behind our own and say she will pull off the highest number of votes. This was closely followed by Faith Kipyegon at that point in time, and because of the population of Kenya. So that already has its own allure. But it should strictly be based on performance and merit. Now, how do you decide who merits an award? That's also key. All these athletes I mentioned compete in various disciplines. Shelly-Ann, Fraser-Pryce, the 100 meters. It's seen like the signature events at the Olympics and World Championships. Not so much for the 100 hurdles, since it's kind of like the sprint hurdles. You wouldn't say Tobi Amusan is the fastest woman in the world because she competes in the sprint hurdles. Now you take it lower now to Sydney McLaughlin over the 400 hurdles. For hardcore fans, they will tell you the 400 meter sprint is the most difficult race to run. Now Sydney now runs the 400 meter hurdles, and she broke the world record twice. So if you ask for a coach's perspective, they will say that's actually much more difficult to do than a Shelly-Ann running a 10.6. In the real context, they would tell you that. But for the fans, it's the allure of the fact that a Shelly ran a 10.6, obliterating our opponents with so much ease, from Nairobi at the Cape Keno Classic to the World Championship in Oregon, winning a 5th title, to winning in winning in Zurich at the Diamond League. It was flawless for her. Now, for the fans or the deeper hardcore fans that like the aesthetics of what the triple jump brings to it, the technicalities of the triple jump itself, how difficult it is to master it. We saw Katerina Bagua take it to this level. Then Rojas was taking it to this level. She broke the world indoor record in Belgrade earlier this year, then moved on to dominating the Diamond League circuit, which she's done over the years. It was back-to-back champions on the indoors for the triple jump, back-to-back champions now, Olympic champion, world champion yet again in the triple jump. She's talking about jumping 60 meters. So evaluating the importance in the grand scheme of things of these performances in their various events is going to be difficult to tell. It's different when we saw Usain Bolt win the title for 4 years in a row. That was glaring. It was glaring in the sense that he did not just transcend winning. It made people fall in love with the sport. Outsiders knew that there was a Bolt running. It was a thing of magic. So you look at all of these factors and you say, only one person comes to mind, and that's Shelly-Ann. If you ask the average NFL fan or the baseball fan, amongst all of these athletes, who do you know? Most likely to just be Shelly-Ann. You probably have to go to South America to talk about Yulimar, Rojas, and in the context of Nigeria, yes, Tobi Amusan. But aside that, nobody really knows any of these athletes too. So my personal pick, obviously, my edge says it should be Sydney McLaughlin. My edge says, and I made that decision last week when I spoke to Zinni van der Vault, who won bronze at the Commonwealth Games over the 400 hurdles, and I know how difficult it is to run the 400 hurdles. Now she broke the world record twice this year, running 50 seconds. These are times that athletes over the 400 flat should not even be running. You literally have to be in the top 20 or top 30 in the 400 meter flat to run 50 seconds consistently. And Sydney ran it in the 400 hurdles. That was just up here. So I think my head says Sydney should win it, and my heart obviously says Tobi Amusan.